Good afternoon and welcome everybody to this week's weekly market analysis class, Monday the 5th of February. Before we get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, let's before we get stuck into what is a data-filled week, a quick summary of last week and particularly the end of the week. US dollar finally had a non-declining week for 2018. In fact, actually, I think from mid-December, every single week the US dollar has declined. So this was the first non-declining week. It was mainly fueled by non-farm payrolls. The numbers and profits, non-farm payrolls, the hourly wages were good. The numbers were good. They were strong. That in combination with profit taking on the other major currencies made all this possible. This week, the USD will pretty much have to take a little bit of a back seat as there's three central banks that are meeting this week. And let me start the analysis right now. We'll kick off with our local, the Aussie dollar. As you can see, we have the RBA rate decision. This happens on the first Tuesday of the month. That will happen tomorrow. We have retail sales tomorrow as well. And something which is a little bit different, they're actually putting out a statement on the monetary policy statement on Friday, which is I'm highlighting down here. Now, essentially, we don't expect any changes in interest rates, but we are particularly looking for any FX comments or currency comments. It's no secret that the RBA does not really like our Aussie dollar being so strong. It doesn't help our economy, and any comment that they make that supports this idea will definitely not be helpful to our local currency. Okay, so that's really what we're specifically more looking for. Any comments that they make regarding the levels of where we're at and so forth. So keep an eye or an ear and an eye out for that one. Aussie dollar has been on a very, very good run, so a natural correction is something that is not out of the question. Our neighbours, New Zealand, have a very big week as well. Like the Aussie, the Kiwi's been on a tremendous run, but recent data for New Zealand has been more on the soft side with sales growth slowing, manufacturing easing. RBNZ will meet this week, and as I'm highlighting to you with the arrow, happens on Thursday. Whilst again no rate change is expected, comments are going to be critical. Also note that the unemployment numbers will be released the day before, which could basically set the tone for the Kiwi dollar. It seems to naturally, the technicals look like a correction is in order. So if these pieces of data come in that flavor, we could see the Kiwi dollar pull back a little. The third major bank, a central bank, should I say, that is due to make monetary statements is in the UK, in GBP, the sterling. This one could be the biggest event of the week, with not only the regular rate decision due, but also the quarterly inflation report is due as well. Regarding the rates, we need to remember they did raise them towards the end of last year, and investors are really now keen to see or to know the intentions for 2018. So there you have it. Those are the highlights. There are other bits and pieces scattered out throughout, but just there's three central banks, the Australian, Kiwi, and the UK that are putting out monetary policy statements this week. So keep alert to that. In terms of which currency pair is going to be the most susceptible to data releases? Well, if you trade any cross pair like the GBP AUD or Kiwi, any cross pair of those, they're going to be highly volatile. But if we're trying to stick to the majors, it's probably going to be the GBP USD. Even though the US doesn't really have any major data, it's still going to be moving around based on the primary currency, and in this case being the sterling. Okay, so there you have it, guys. As always, please note that the times that I'm showing you are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. I'm located in Sydney. Okay, let me bring my charts forward. Let's begin the analysis individually. If anybody has any questions, this is the time for you to type them in, paste them in, depending on how you are doing this. Okay, just give me one moment and we'll get that kicking off right now. Okay, just got my pen ready and kicking off with the Aussie USD. Okay, let me have a look. Aussie Dollar. Okay, I've got a support line that I'll leave on my chart. I was just having a quick look just before the class started. Let me just see how close I am to an actual channel. Let me just get this other line out of the way for a moment. And let me play around with this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this. I just want to see how close I can get to being into what I would consider, okay, it's a little bit more than what I thought. All right, so I'll leave my support line in. This is going to come into play possibly sometime in the near future, and what I would be interested in is that area there. That's highly unlikely that it would be this week. This wasn't quite a double top, but the level seemed to hold and it has pulled back quite a lot. So if all of a sudden I would be reluctant to make a move on this. Look, we could get a setup that, let's say today's candle ends up being like this, as an example. Tomorrow being Tuesday, which will be the candle that's going to be affected by RBA policy. If that one ends up something like that, well, then that could set up a trend continuation, meaning pulling back into the hot spot and then continue into that direction. So that could definitely happen. Let's find out and see. What could happen is tomorrow's candle could push us further down, or if it's something very, very positive, it could push us right back up and create a 3-candle pattern to give us the opportunity to continue in the trend. All right. So at the moment, we're kind of like in no man's land. I'm trying to find some support areas. It's really going to depend on what we produce today and tomorrow's candle before we can make a decision. But be alert to look for this type of behavior. Okay, but only trade it if we actually get that nice inside candle situation. Otherwise, I actually get the feeling that it's more going to be heading towards down, but I'm not willing to trade that because I don't have any evidence of that. Okay, so this week Aussie US dollar, we just keep alert on it, but there's nothing there particularly at this point in time. Okay, let's move along to the Euro USD. Let me zoom out a little. Let me just check out this chart from far away. Okay, Euro USD is one of those that at the moment, let me show you over here. if you haven't been in the classes in recent times, we're in this big air pocket, and I got nothing to leverage off, or in terms of where I feel it may bounce back or anything like that. So I'm kind of flying a little bit on the blind side there. And the only type of trade that I'm particularly interested with the Euro USD is more of the same, which is trend continuation. So we're looking for it to pull back and then to continue to hit those trading opportunities as such. There was one last week which I didn't realize, or I didn't notice it. I'm just noticing now. There is an engulfing candle situation here. Okay, so this would have been, so this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. I didn't see this one. Otherwise, I may have put it out on the daily call. So had you taken this particular trade, your entry would have been there. Your stop is just there, and you can see that this trade easily made the 1-to-1 level. And if you're chasing the second target, you would still be in this trade. Did anybody take this one just out of curiosity? Because I didn't see it myself. I'm just really seeing it right now. No one's took this one. No one saw this one. Not to worry. All right, so Euro USD. I guess we're looking for the more obvious one. That one was a little bit more camouflage. We're looking for a pull into that area and then to continue the trend. Other than that, I don't really have any levels up the top where I could try to bounce off. So this is really the only thing that I'm interested in on the Euro USD. And the way it's been going on a really, really strong run. So as they say, while it's running, just continue along with it as long as we get good entry points into it. Okay, that's the Euro USD. Let's have a look at the GBP USD. Okay, I'm on a different computer today. Some of these lines are quite old, so let me just get rid of some of them. Zoom out. Again, on the Wednesday, there was a setup here. GBP USD. At the moment, I feel I don't have a setup right now on this particular pair as it stands. The type of trade that I would be looking for, I would probably be looking for this one as well. But with this one, I'm a little bit more concerned because we have a lower point there. So I would want my setup to happen at a higher level than this level here. So I would want it to happen here to shoot that way. If it happened below, then now I'm starting to think, is the trend actually reversing? Because of two reasons. Because that has not taken that one out. Okay, and if we go lower than this level, well then you could start to feel that it's like a scale in the opposite direction. So this was a little bit trickier than the Euro USD that I just showed you. So probably this one, let's leave this one alone for this week. And also on top of that, we've already said that the pound is probably going to be the most volatile for the week. So perhaps better to just leave this one alone. Okay? All right, let's have a look at US CAD. Incidentally, was it US CAD? I think I had a US CAD daily call trade. Let me just have a quick look, see if I can find it. Yes, there it is. Let me drop it on the charts. I don't know how many of you watch the daily call every day, but this one was based off, there was two reasons. It was a 4 hour, it was on a 4 hour chart. Let me just highlight it to you because this one hit full target. I think it was there was a support level there. And also, let me just superimpose the fishing strip strategy. Oh, sorry, let me just draw that line again because I've just rubbed it out now. Okay, so do you guys know the fishing strip? All right, the first part of what I want to highlight is that we drew this support level, we saw the market bounce there, saw it go again, and this was the area that I was interested right there. Now let me zoom in. So when I zoom in, I highlighted the fact that these two candles here were creating the fishing strip setup, and it was also occurring right on that line. Okay, so I had two reasons to take this trade. When I saw it, we were already at about this level. So let me just drop my trade on it right now because it's all gone out of the system. Let me just drop my trade. So this is highlighting to you the level that I got in at there. Right there, you can see there, it's just dotted my trade along. Now, the stop, there's the little mark, there was the stop. So this was my 1-to-1 level, but this trade went on to the 2-to-1 level as well. Did anybody take this one? Can I just get a show of hands, or if anybody took this trade, or did you see it? Did anybody see it? Do you guys know where to get the daily call? Let me show you something while I'm here right now. I'll show you where you can get it. If you don't know, just go to csctraders.com.au, and then here in the signal center, just click here, daily call. Just bookmark it if it makes it easier, and it's right here. So just click here, and every day it changes to whatever the current one is. And also, if you notice over here, I'm actually, every trade that I take, I track it, and I highlight it. That's the trade that I'm talking about. Okay, and we have one open position still, which is New Zealand CAD. Only the trades on the daily call that I actually take a trade, they're listed over here, and you can see the number of trades, the ratios, and the percentage there as well. Just a bit of trivia if you want to look at it. It's not intended for anything other than to highlight the trades for you so that you can see what they are and you can follow them, especially if you're learning a strategy. Gives you an opportunity if you're newer to see somebody else trade it live. And there you go, that's an example of that particular one there. All right, let me change my template back. And back to a daily. All right, US CAD, what's happening this week? The US CAD looks set to, it may produce for us over here the price action setups that we're looking for. Just in case there's anybody new that doesn't know what I'm talking about. Let's say today's current candle finished like that. Then if tomorrow was an inside candle as such, then the third day, if we break that inside, then that's the trade that I'm actually referring to. Okay, so it looks like the Aussie as well, but this one looks a little bit nicer. It looks a little bit nicer to me. It's swinging nicer. And if you see over here, in this candle here, there's a couple of setups right there to go down. All right, so US CAD, there's no support or resistance lines that I can draw. Let me just check. Does this line extend all the way through? Let me just double check. That's interesting. Yeah, I've gone back quite a while, but this line seems to be supporting. Let me zoom in and let's have a look. Oh, had we seen that a little bit earlier, we would have had an inside candle situation right here. Okay, and at the break of that, we could have traded that in the upward direction. Did anybody see that by any chance? Paul, yes, that's a correct site that you've just typed in. Okay, we missed that. See, sometimes you got to zoom right out of a chart and then you can see things a little bit better. Okay. All right, so I'll just keep that there, but for now, I guess I'm actually looking to go in this direction and let's see what happens. All right, so that's my US CAD analysis. All right, let's go to the US yen. Moving along. Let's have a look. Okay, this is done and dusted. Let's kill it. This whole area in there is an area that the market has been trading between, what is it, like roughly 108 and 114 for a long time. If the US was going to break, okay, let's have a look. Actually over here, if we were in trend going down, we do seem at the moment like we're setting up a nice inside candle. It's not ready yet, so you need to wait for the current candle, this little red one, to complete, and then we would want to trade in this direction. Now, the only thing that would concern me is this entire region that I've highlighted for you. So let me just make this a floor about there, and now let me zoom in again. So what I would be concerned about, or things that you would need to consider, is let's say that today's candle actually finished exactly like it sits right now. That would mean that tomorrow you would get a fractal over there, and then we would be interested in trading the break of the bottom of the candle. So that means that your stop would be over here somewhere, and this would be your stop distance. If that was the case, I would feel quite comfortable that before I get to the area, this gray area of concern, I've got enough room to at least hit my one-to-one level. The good thing about this type of trade is, and when I take it, this type of trade, which seems like a change in momentum, when it's inside a congested zone and I'm approaching the perimeter, the good thing about this type of trade is that once it hits your one-to-one, okay, so let's say it hits your one-to-one over here, okay, if you then remove some of the risk off the table and you hang in on that tight, if it breaks this level, usually what I do is I push my target way lower, because now effectively it's like you've entered a breakout trade early, because the zone is this. Typically on a breakout trade, you could expect the market to go down this amount of distance, okay, or about there. So in essence, what you've done is you would have got an entry over there. You've picked up a little trade here. You've held tight, and then you've got an opportunity to really capitalize on this type of trade. All right. So, and even if you put a second target over there, something, or some kind of a trailing stop, this is a good time to basically try and let it run as long as you can possibly psychologically hang on to it. All right, does everybody understand what I'm talking about? So at the moment, we need to wait for today's candle to finish. Tomorrow we will know if we have the setup. If we have the setup, we can take the initial trade looking for the one-to-one, and then maybe remove some risk off the table, and then as we head in to beyond that. Now, of course, this may not happen. Today's candle, by the time Europe wakes up, this may just shoot up there, create a new high, and then we just got to start all over again. Okay, but that's at the moment the way it's looking. It is an inside candle, so let's see if it remains that way till tomorrow. Okay, Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar. Okay, so right now, for me, this looks like we're moving in a little bit tight. Let me get rid of this line. And if I drop into a 4-hour time zone, you'll start to see it, that there's slightly movements heading into each other. Okay, and this could be the market preparing for big data coming out, which of course we know we have. Kiwi dollar's got the unemployment rates, and of course the RBNZ, we're making a policy statement as well as interest rate decision. So this is quite normal. The market can start to compress on itself, waiting for that decision. If I go to a daily, from what I can see there's no trades at all. On a 4-hour chart, maybe, but I'm not willing to trade that. Let's just see. I need to see another candle or two before we can make a decision on this one. Okay, so that's the situation with Kiwi dollar. It is a big week for the Kiwi. As I said, employment numbers and monetary policy decisions and announcements. Okay, let's move to gold. We've got a trade on gold. Oh, who took this trade with me? I think I took it last Monday. Can someone just confirm? Did I take it last Monday? Where is it? Gold. The 29th. Yes, last Monday. Thank you, Phoebe. Okay, how are we going on this? Are we nearly there yet? Are we there yet? 217. I'm getting close. I think I've got it right now on a hard 1-to-1 target. You can see where my stop is, you can see where my entry was, and there's my 1-to-1. My 2-to-1 would be over here somewhere. So what's the situation? Let me see. Let me zoom out a little bit first. Why did I take it? Okay, I believe I've taken it because there's a whole bunch of activity in this area up there as resistance zones. That was the reason for the trade. And let's look at the entry. The entry was based on, I can see it, pretty straightforward. It's right over here. Inside candle. So the little green one is inside the top at a resistance point, which I already highlighted. And you can see my entry, there's the green line, which actually happened right there. So we started to go forward. We went backwards a little bit. We are there right now. And I've been in the trade for 1 week. Part of trading, depending on your strategy. Now, I'm working with daily candles mainly because I just don't have the time at the moment, running the company and all those types of things. This is the best way that I can trade and assist you guys. So I'm trading the daily candle so that I only need to look at the charts once a day. And it's been 7 days right now, and I'm still open. And I'll keep it that way. If anybody, can I just get a show of hands who's live on this trade? Because I remember this particular one had a little bit of a higher risk because it was gold itself, which basically means you had to risk a little bit more, and I think I worked it out as something like about 230 US dollars or something like that. So can I just get a show of hands? Who's got this trade on? No one? Okay, all right. Did anybody take it in demo mode for learning purposes? Okay, someone took the trade and has already taken profit. A couple of people have taken it in demo mode. Okay, good. All right. All right. Now, for the person that said that they've taken profit out already, one thing that you always got to remember, and I'm not telling anybody, what to do or how to do it, but you need to be aware of, if I was to close out my trade right now, yes, I'm going to take a profit, this amount of profit, but I have risked this amount. So I have taken a bigger risk to make a smaller amount. Now, if my win ratio was 50-50, it's a strategy that's going to lose me money in the long term. Okay, and so it's something that is important that we understand. Yes, I know that right now I could stay here on this trade and eventually get stopped out and I get nothing while I've got something on the table. But if we do the probability, it's an important exercise that you need to understand about your trade. So I'm just going to stay with it. I'm not concerned. It'll hit if it hits, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So we're playing the probability game. So we stay in this one. So this week I got nothing for you, and the only thing that may make me change my mind is if all of a sudden I had a signal in the opposite direction, and it was something that was like I would need more than one reason. Like for example, if I form an inside candle today here and then say, oh, we're in trend going that way, that's not going to be good enough for me to change my mind. All right, because technically, if that was a situation when I zoom out, I'm still running into that hot resistance level. It doesn't look super crash off, so I would need a double reason to maybe change my mind. Otherwise, I'm just sticking with the original trade. All right, so this week gold, we're doing nothing. We're still open, and we are in a short position. We're about 3/4 of the way to our 1-to-1 target. So let's see how this one plays out. Let's move along. Let's have a look at oil. Zoom out. Okay, oil. First thing that I want to point out to everybody, empty space. Okay, basically when the market came down and went through this region, it just shot through it. Okay, it didn't do this like that, and just shot through it. So when it shot through it like that, this is what it's created, this empty space. So now I have no levels of knowing where may be the resistance or the zone where I might be interested in shorting. So when I don't have nothing like that as reference, then there's only one type of trade that I look for. We've already taken out that high, so all I'm looking for is little trades like that and just continue. Little pullbacks and just continue, etc., etc., as far as I can go. All right. Question that Dennis has just asked me regarding the gold trade. Would I move my stop loss? Look, if I was super concerned about it, I would. I may. Normally, I don't touch my stop loss until one of the things that I teach is when you reach your 1-to-1 point, that's the first point at which I make decisions about closing trades or moving stops. All right, so I haven't reached my 1-to-1 position on that gold trade yet, so I would not touch it. That's just me. But what everybody should have is in their trading plans, they need to have rules about their 1-to-1, the 1-to-1 point, which I call it the magic point, which will definitely assist you or break you on the psychological side. So it's a very, very critical point in the trading process, for the lack of a better word. Okay, and especially when you've been in the trade for a long time, like we've been in it for 7 days. So now is when the nerves start to play up, the demons start to come out and say, look, I've got X amount of profit on the table. Should I do something? I don't want to lose it. Okay, so we need to understand that. All right, okay, that's the answer to that question. Okay, so we're in empty space. Let's zoom in and let's have a look. When you start to get good, let me just highlight a couple of candles, okay? So let's look at this whole run. Let's use this as a learning tool, okay? So let's look at this whole run and focus your eye on every candle that has the fractal, okay? Now we all agree that we're in an uptrend, right? You can see that the moving average has crossed here, and throughout this whole period, they still remain as they are. They have not crossed back. All right. So let me now analyze all those highlighted areas. Let's delete this. Okay. Let me just highlight them for you. I want to highlight all these ones because when you're on a run, unfortunately, sometimes we don't get the perfect setup. When you get better at trading, you will start to go with your intuition a little bit and look for more setups than just the classic ones. Okay, so let me zoom in now and we'll analyze them one by one. So we'll take this as an opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. Okay, the first one. Typically, we want to analyze the candle to the left and to the right. So I'm looking at this 3-candle cluster to see if I can get anything there to take a trade. Now, at this particular point in time, we had not cleared this high. And there's no inside candles, there's no engulfing candles, nothing there. So this one here, even I would not have taken this trade. There's nothing indicating that I could have taken a trade here. Okay, so let me just get rid of that one. So this would have been a no trade. Let's move along. Okay, now the next thing I've got to point out, this time at this point now we've left a higher imprint on the market, notice, and if that is the low there, it's left a higher. So now we are walking higher. Okay, so this time I'm looking to see if I can possibly find the trade here. Now let's have a look. If I analyze it, as I analyze it, I clearly see that here is an inside candle, very clear to see. All right, and furthermore, your entry is about there, your stops there, you hit your target about there, your 2-to-1 target. So you've got a full trade. So we'll leave that one highlighted. So you've got one trade out of it. Let's move along. Let's have a look at the next one. This one here. Okay. There's the candle. These are the 3 candles that we are inspecting. What do we got? We don't have engulfings, we don't have body engulfings, we don't have nothing. Okay, this one here would have been difficult to trade, so we just say unlucky. We missed out on that one, so I'll rub it out. Next one along, I've missed one here. Next one along is actually here. And again, I get the classic engulfing, inside candles right there. Your entry triggers there, shoots off, gets your trade easily. That's 2. Third one over here, triggers inside candle. I can see it there. We trigger here. We don't go there. We get stopped out over here. So this one, let's mark it in a little bit differently. So we get stopped out on this particular one. Let me let me make it bigger. Okay, so that one is a no. The next one, this one here, This one almost trades like an inside candle. Sometimes they're going to be so close. Okay, let me just measure this. The difference, the lower, this one's 55.72 and this one is 55.77. So we're talking about a tiny amount. If the trade looks like a classic trade, to me, often I find myself trading these as an inside candle. Even though this one has a low which is slightly lower than that one, they're almost the same. You'll get a feel for it over time. So, for example, for me, I would have traded this one, and this one hits your targets easily, so I'll leave that marked as well. Let's move along. Let's have a look at the next one. The next one is here. I need to zoom in a bit more. This one trades as a, if I look at the three here, those are the three that I'm looking at, but particularly I'm looking at these two now, and okay, now all right, this one is a bit too advanced. Just leave this one alone. We don't get that one, so I'll delete it. The next one is over here. Oh, this is ripped off. That one's nothing. And then the last one, so I don't get that one doesn't trigger. And the last one over here, if I look at these three here, what I want you to notice particularly is these two. And this one is a body engulfing. The body of the green one is bigger than the body of the red one. So this is a trade. This triggers right there. There's your stop. And you can see that this one's hit 2-to-1 as well. All right, so this one's another good trade. And finally over here, what do we got on this one? On this one, I don't have anything. Okay, so I can't trigger anything on this particular one right here. So when you look at this run, we triggered one trade, two trades, three trades, but that was a stop out, four trades, and five trades. Four of those trades went as far as 2-to-1, and one trade only lost you one. So in theory, you would have won 8, lost 1, giving you 7. Does everybody follow the maths of that? If the risk that I was taking was, let's say, $100 per trade, then obviously can I just get confirmation that we understand what I've just gone through that exercise? If I can see a lot of new names in the class, so I just want to make sure that I don't lose anybody along the way. Yep. Okay. So this is when we think about it, it was a big run, but we've taken that run in 4 different trades, or effectively 5 different trades, and we're minimizing our, I guess, exposure to the market. So, and if you add up all the bits that we made, the end result is that we probably took out at least about this much of the chunk out of the market, which is still an effective part. Okay, and the reality is that most people can't hold one trade for long enough. Psychologically, we are not equipped. We're not strong enough. The only way we can do it is if we forget that we have the trade on and we come back 3 months later and look at the chart and go, oh my God, I got this trade on, and then you can close it. Okay, so it's a very difficult thing to do. So we're looking at oil, and zooming out again to remind everybody of the air gap. What kind of trade am I looking for? Well, you think about it. Let me answer this question. Somebody is asking me, what's the lowest time frame that we can trade on? Look, I've got methods that I can trade on 5-minute charts that are very effective. At the moment, for me to run these classes, I'm working on daily charts and 4-hour charts, purely because it's the only way that I can be current with the trades and assist you live when I see them. I can't assist you live on a 5-minute chart, for example. Okay, Andrew, correct. So I'm looking for up trades. I'm looking for continuation of the trend. So the natural thing to look for is, let's see if we get a bit of a pullback. Let's see if we get that, and let's see if we can continue along. Okay, until the trend changes, we get stopped out, and well, then that's the end. Okay, all right. Last one for the week, ASX 200. What is it doing? Stock markets have been coming on and off. Last week in the US, Aussie's been affected. A little bit of gap in there as well. This chart looks too messy to me to trade. It's just too much in that area. So I've got nothing for you on the ASX 200. Okay, let me just go summarize this week. If you have a question, please pop it in and I'll see if I can answer it for you. Aussie dollar, we're waiting for 2 more candles to see if we get a setup. Euro USD, same situation. We're running in one direction, so we're looking for continuation of trends. GBP USD, we said we're going to leave this one alone because this one looks a little bit different. It's got a lower high and it could potentially have a higher low, which means compression, so no. US CAD, we took out a nice trade on it last week. Let's look for a pullback and continuation. US yen could be the best trade that we have. It does depend on US weakness, but if it does come along, we could get the inside candle tomorrow to trade down, and if we hang tight, we could break through the congestion for a big run. Kiwi dollar, we said we're just going to wait for a candle or two. Remember, RBNZ and the Kiwi has a lot of data this week. Gold, we're currently in a gold trade and we are short, so we're staying with it. Oil, we're looking for continuation of the trend. And finally, ASX 200, let's leave it alone. Chart's too messy this week. So there you have it. That's our analysis for the week, guys. Any final questions before I wrap up? No? All right. So any latecomers, just quick. Somebody asked me before, again, where you can get the stats for the daily call and where you can find the video is go to csctraders.com.au. When you're there, in the signal center, highlight it, and then underneath daily call, click on it. It'll take you to the page, bookmark it, and on the page what will happen is you'll see this. Click on it. It's a brand new video every day. It looks the same when you come to the page, but when I press play, see, this is today's video, it'll just automatically play for you right there. It'll work on your phone if you're away. Let me pause that because it started to talk. It's my own voice. So that's this morning's, that's a 5th. And over here, the chart of the day, if I do trigger a trade, I've been documented it over here. It's something new that I started this year for 2018. Okay, there you have it, guys. Hope you all have a fantastic trading week. Oh, hang on, someone's asking me a question. What is it? What do I think of the Aussie CAD? Let's have a look at the Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD. Ah, this is nice. Straight away, as soon as I look at this chart, that just looks so nice. Okay, first thing I notice. Second thing I want to do straight off the bat is I want to see if I can wrap this up. I think I had it as a chart of the day or to put it in your hot list. Did I have it as a chart of the day for hot list on daily call? Because this looks familiar to me. Let me zoom in now. Okay, this is a trade screaming for me to attempt, but it's not ready yet. You've got to wait for the current candle tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll finish as an inside candle, and then tomorrow we can try and trade the bounce. Okay, so I'm going to hot list this one for myself, and if it does, so that I remind myself to watch it tomorrow for the daily call. And if it's triggered, it'll be my chart of the day. Okay, thank you for that. Any other final questions? No? Okay, I'll just put this. No, I won't. We'll wrap up for the day. I've already deleted it off my screen. Look, guys, have a great trading week. Watch the daily call every morning. If you have any questions, please email me and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Until next week, or if I speak to you tomorrow via the daily call. Bye for now.